And the Indiana Fever have pulled off the upset, the 6th seed, beating Vegas 89-73 to take Game 1.
Everyone said the Indiana Fever had no chance. Analysts dismissed them. Odds makers laughed. Even the Las Vegas Aces, back-to-back champions, expected a sweep. But on the very night A'ja Wilson raised her MVP trophy in front of her home crowd, the unthinkable happened. The Fever, missing 6 players, walked into Las Vegas and stole Game 1, 89-73. It wasn't just a win, it was a shockwave. How does a team with half its roster gone pull off the biggest upset of the playoffs? Was this a fluke, or are we witnessing the birth of something bigger? Six players out. Caitlin Clark sidelined. Sophie Cunningham gone. Sid Coulson, Ari McDonald, Chloe BBY, and Dantas. Everywhere you looked, the injury report stacked higher than the odds against them. They weren't supposed to survive.
Particular matchup, Aces Fever, Game 1. We're not deciding the whole series right now, just Game 1.
Should we do it together?
I think we should do it together.
Okay.
Because my spidey sense is telling me they might be the same. 3, 2, 1.
Aces.
They're not gonna lose after she just won MVP.
Yeah, period.
There's no, yeah,
No way.
okay, I see
No way.
Imagine this, the Aces arena buzzing, championship banners overhead, A'ja Wilson at center court, lifting her MVP trophy as the crowd roars. The night was scripted for glory. Indiana wasn't even supposed to exist in that moment. They were background characters. But that's the thing about sports. Just when you think the story is already written, someone grabs the pen. And by the final buzzer, the party in Vegas wasn't about celebration. It was about shock. So tell me,
Indiana Fever had no business winning a playoff series this year, had no business advancing to the semifinals for the first time in a decade, and yet here they are, eliminating the Atlanta Dream in Atlanta without Caitlin Clark, without Sophie Cunningham, without Sid Coulson, without Ari McDonald, without Chloe Bibby. The hospital squad is on the bench, and yet the Indiana Fever are into the semifinals of the WNBA playoff.
the first round, let alone the semis. Yet somehow, this patchwork lineup, stitched together with rookies and role players, is rewriting the script. So here's the real question. When the experts say you can't, what drives a team to prove everyone wrong? Is it coaching, heart, or something even more powerful?
And then the coaching of Stephanie White. Like, she is working with a 9-woman rotation, and 5 of those players did not even touch the court the last time the Fever played the Dream during the regular season, and 3 of those players weren't even on the team. Like, I cannot say it enough. The Indiana Fever should not be here. They continue to be here. They battle. They're resilient. It's wildly impressive. Caitlin Clark wore the black Air Force Ones again. They had one of those forces lifted in the air like a beacon of hope, and now they'll face the Aces.
On ESPN panels, the predictions were unanimous. Aces. Easy sweep. The betting lines weren't even worth debating. Headlines framed Indiana's only chance as survival, not victory. And yet, when the lights came on, it wasn't Las Vegas controlling the floor. It was the Fever dictating every possession. The same analysts who laughed at the idea of Indiana competing were suddenly scrambling to explain what just happened. So maybe the Real story...
You actually just referenced it twice. It is Indiana. Dropped 2 of the 3 games to them this year, but you haven't seen them since late July. What excites you about that matchup?
That they haven't seen the releases yet. They caught us when we were at a bit in turmoil. Not only that, they whooped us one of those stretches. So, you know what? We'll buckle in, hone in where we can, and take care of business.
And yet,
With half the roster gone, Stephanie White didn't just coach. She performed surgery. A 9-woman rotation, players who barely saw the court in the regular season suddenly stepping into playoff pressure. Every substitution mattered. Every scheme had to adapt. And yet, somehow, the Fever didn't just survive, they executed. They looked prepared. So here's the question. Was this the greatest coaching performance of the season? And if Indiana can do this with scraps, what happens when they're finally healthy?
Respect everyone, fear no one. Thumbs in the chat. Dub. That's one. That's big time. That's big time right now.
While all eyes were locked on Asia Wilson, it was Kelsey Mitchell who stole the show. 34 points, 4 threes, 6 for 6 at the line. No Fever player had dropped over 30 in a playoff game in more than a decade. No WNBA player had ever done it in their first semifinal. And yet, Mitchell did it on the biggest stage against the defending champs. She wasn't supposed to be the headline, but after this,
First semifinal appearance. Just what's your emotional state right now?
Normal, I think. It's practice. Trying to prepare like anybody else would, like any other day. But keep the main thing. That's all you can do.
Underdogs aren't supposed to win. They're supposed to fight hard, earn respect, and eventually lose with pride. But the Fever didn't stick to the script. They rewrote it. This wasn't just about stealing one game. It was about announcing they belong on this stage. They weren't the undercard to Vegas spotlight. They became the story. So ask yourself, if Indiana can shock the world once, why can't they do it again?
Tell your younger self.
Yeah.
How would you explain to her to make sure that you give yourself grace and give you the flowers that you so willingly deserve?
Ooh, I think the best thing I could have done was, I had a list. I had a long list. I wrote down a list of all the times I could have quit, been a pro, playing with the Indiana Fever. I wrote down all the people that wrote me off. I wrote it down on a list. I wrote down all the coaches that didn't want me around. I wrote down all the media outlets that didn't want to talk to me. I think that within itself is like, you got to tell your younger self not to give up on you. Because it's been a lot of times I could have given up when I know a lot of people that talk to me now weren't talking to me, and I know what it was like when they wasn't. So that part is big for me.
Think about the context. A team limping into the semis, written off by every projection, standing across from the champs in their own arena. And then Kelsey Mitchell doesn't just score. She sets records. More points than any Fever player in playoff history. More points than any semifinal debut in league history. Her name now sits beside legends like Cynthia Cooper and Lauren Jackson. But here's the kicker. She didn't just match them. She passed them. So is this just one historic night, or the beginning of a new legend?
That time, keeping the pivot foot alive and going strong side for Wilson.
Mitchell this time finds a lane to the basket. Inside to Turner. Nice look from Mitchell, which follows 5 Eastern time on ESPN. Mitchell. Lot of arc on that and a couple of bounces.
Post-game, the cameras caught Mitchell and her teammates repeating just one phrase. Respect everyone. Fear no one. That's not a slogan. It's a manifesto. For a team that's been overlooked, counted out, and called lucky, it's the heartbeat that keeps them alive. So here's the bigger question. Is this the start of Indiana's Cinderella story? Or are we watching the rise of a dynasty in disguise?
5-point advantage for Indy. Trying to go inside. Terrific defense by Mitchell to deny Lloyd. It's Mitchell, guarded by Evans. Screen from Turner. Kelsey Mitchell knocks down another shot.
No one is accountable for Hall.